Champagne wishes and caviar dreams, that was Brenda Sterling's motto, and the Gilded Lily in Chicago was her kind of stage. Velvet ropes couldn't hold back Brenda and her pal Ashley. Money talked, especially Brenda's kind. Tonight, Brenda was feeling extra notice me, draped in designer everything, jewels flashing like tiny defiant spotlights. Ashley, bless her heart, looked like she'd rather be anywhere else than this temple of haute cuisine, but she trailed Brenda, trying to keep up with the heiress's power walk. Brenda swept into the Gilded Lily like she owned the place, which in her mind she practically did. Staff practically bowed as they held doors, but Brenda sailed past, not a glance, not a nod. Service had better be flawless, food divine, and waiters invisible unless summoned. Little did Brenda know, the man about to take her order, James Blackwood, owned every inch of this glittering palace. James, a mogul who preferred to stay in the shadows, occasionally donned an apron, a secret shopper in his own empire, gauging the vibe, the service, the customer pulse. James spotted Brenda the second she strutted in. Trouble alert. He'd heard whispers. Brenda Sterling, a customer from hell, complaints louder than the opera, demands wilder than a Chicago wind. He plastered on his pro smile, intercepting the duo. Good evening, ladies. Welcome to the Gilded Lily. Cordial, calm, practiced. Brenda barely flicked her eyes at him. Table by the window, she commanded, like he was a robot programmed to obey. Ashley managed a weak smile for James, a silent apology for Brenda's Ice Queen act. Brenda, already gliding towards the prime spot, didn't even register his presence. Settled in, Brenda surveyed the room, a queen inspecting her kingdom. Service better be top-notch tonight, she announced to Ashley, voice sharp enough for James, menu in hand nearby, to catch every syllable. James, immune to this breed of entitled arrogance, kept his cool. Long night ahead, no doubt, but he wasn't about to let a diva derail his evening. This was his restaurant, after all. Dealing with Brenda's was just part of the game. Menu barely opened, Brenda's demands began. Wine needs to be icy. Last time, lukewarm disaster. Flipping pages like they were trash. And everything organic, you do have that farm thing, right? James, smile still surgically attached, responded smoothly. Our wine cellar's temperature controlled, madam. And yes, all our ingredients are from certified organic suppliers. Flawless experience guaranteed. Better be, Brenda muttered, dismissing him with a wave as she finally deigned to look at the menu. Another night at the office for James, but for Brenda, this was a stage for her drama, and James was just another prop. As James walked away for their drinks, he knew this was just Act 1, but he was ready. Calm, professional, that was his armor. Returning with wine, James moved with practiced grace, placing the bottle, serving with silent precision, Brenda's hawk eyes tracking every move. Let's see if you got it right this time, she snipped, grabbing the glass, swirling the crimson liquid like she was judging a competition. Sip, pause, neutral face. Then a nod. Acceptable. Like she was bestowing a medal. Though French is superior, this is Italian, isn't it? The question dripped with condescension. Italian wine, a personal affront. James, smile unfazed. Yes, madam, a Bolero vintage from Italy's finest, but we have exceptional French options, should you prefer. Brenda waved a dismissive hand. Too late. Just don't mess up the rest of the night. Ashley shot James a mortified glance, a silent plea for forgiveness for Brenda's appalling behavior. This was Brenda's power play, belittling anyone she deemed beneath her. James, unruffled. Ready to order, madam. Professional tone locked in. Brenda paused, dramatic sigh, scanned the menu like she was choosing between world peace and a diamond tiara. Snap of the menu shut. Salmon, but not like that. Pointing at the description like it offended her. No sauces, no heavy sides, light, healthy. Got it? Probably too much to ask someone like you to understand fine dining, but try to relay that to the kitchen accurately. James nodded, internally rolling his eyes, externally still smooth as silk. Of course, madam. Exactly as you wish. Good, Brenda sniffed, already turning back to Ashley. James instantly erased from her world. Ashley, voice soft, ordered a salad. Thanked James with genuine warmth. He retreated, order pad in hand, Brenda's arrogance buzzing in the air. Another night, another entitled customer, James thought, heading to the kitchen, especially in a place like the Gilded Lily, where some patrons felt entitled to treat staff like disposable furniture. His being black, discreetly serving, waiter's uniform, it probably triggered every bias Brenda had. But unlike his staff, who had to swallow such insults, James held a secret weapon, ownership. This was his kingdom. Brenda's petty power trips were meaningless against his quiet authority. It gave him a strange sense of calm amidst the storm of her disdain. Kitchen doors swung open. James relayed Brenda's demands to Chef Marco, who raised a knowing eyebrow. "Brenda Sterling, huh? Always a joy." James shrugged. "Tonight, she's on a mission to test our limits. But food? Perfect. No room for error." Marco chuckled. "Leave it to me. We'll make that salmon sing." Orders prepped, James continued his rounds. Peripheral vision locked on Brenda. He caught her watching him, those calculating eyes, searching for a flaw, a slip-up, anything to fuel her superiority complex. Time ticked. Brenda's salmon was ready. James took charge of delivery, placing the plate before her with deliberate care. "Your salmon, madam, prepared precisely as requested." Professional smile, unwavering gaze. Brenda scrutinized the dish like it was a suspect in a crime. Slowly, fork in hand, she speared a piece, brought it to her lips. "Chew, chew," neutral mask, fork down. "Acceptable," she declared like she was granting a pardon, "but I've had better." Ashley sighed, a silent wave of sympathy towards James. He remained a rock of composure. "Glad it meets your standards, madam. Anything else?" "Expect so," Brenda retorted, dismissing him again. Back to Ashley, conversation resuming like James was a ghost. Brenda was just warming up. Salmon verdict delivered, she launched into commentary, voice loud, designed to be overheard. "Service here? Slipping. Used to be real waiters. Knew their stuff." Ashley flinched, glancing nervously at nearby tables. Diners clearly picking up on Brenda's tirade. "He's doing fine, Brenda," Ashley murmured, trying to defuse the bomb. "Trying hard." "Trying isn't enough, Ashley," Brenda scoffed. "Paying these prices? Perfection is the minimum expectation. Training's gone downhill. Probably hire anyone these days. Look at him." Leaning in conspiratorially. "Out of place, doesn't understand luxury." Ashley frowned. "You're exaggerating. He's been polite." "Politeness is entry-level, Ashley," Brenda snapped. "Waiters should read customers. Adapt, like wine pairing. Expected him to know, but can't expect much from someone like him, can you?" James, close enough to hear, continued serving, ears burning, every word a tiny jab. He'd faced subtle prejudice, veiled insults, but Brenda was going full throttle, prejudice on parade. Unlike staff who had to bite their tongues, James held the ultimate trump card, owner. Power she couldn't fathom. Calm amidst disrespect, that was his superpower. Evening wore on. Brenda found fault in everything. Napkin fold? Imperfect. Fork? Not gleaming enough. Water? Barely chilled. Each interaction, a chance to flex her superiority muscles. Wine knowledge? Zero. Brenda sneered to Ashley, mocking smile plastered on her face. "Bet he can't tell Bordeaux from boxed wine." James, responding to Brenda's imperious wave, approached the table again. "Anything else, madam?" Brenda stared, assessing him like he was an exhibit in a museum of bad service. "Wine recommendation. Hopeless. How can I trust you to suggest anything decent?" James, calm voice unwavering. "Happy to offer alternatives, madam. Exceptional French selection. A 25 Bordeaux pairs beautifully with salmon." Brenda's eyebrows shot up, surprise flickering in her eyes. But admitting surprise? Unthinkable. "Maybe you lucked out, learned something." Sarcasm dripped. "Bordeaux, now." As James turned to fetch the bottle, Ashley shot Brenda a look of pure disgust. "Why are you being so awful?" "Testing the service, Ashley, darling," Brenda purred, self-satisfied smirk in place. "Seeing if they measure up, that's what we do in places like this." James returned, Bordeaux in hand, protocol perfect. Label presented, taste poured, approval awaited. Brenda swirled, sniffed, sipped, theatrics worthy of a stage. Acceptable, barely, basic service, passable. Wine poured with professional flourish, James retreated again, knowing the criticism would keep coming, posture impeccable. "See, Ashley?" Brenda resumed, turning back to her friend. "Took some pushing, but he got it right. Gotta teach these people. Politeness, not enough. Service skills, essential." Tension in the air thickened. Diners were noticing Brenda's antics. Disapproving glances aimed her way. Ashley, visibly shrinking, tried to change course. "Maybe just enjoy dinner?" Desperate plea for peace. "No, Ashley," Brenda insisted, oblivious to the growing hostility around them. "People need to know their place. Luxury restaurant? Understand what that means. This. Waiter, clueless, no idea where he is. Kitchen, James felt the shift. More eyes on table 12. Whispers. Staff, other customers, aware of the unfolding drama. Many recognized him, the owner in waiter's disguise. But James held his cards close, waiting for the perfect moment. Brenda's prejudice, condescension, disturbing, yes. New? Sadly, no. He'd faced it before, climbed over it, built his empire despite it. Dignity, his weapon. Night far from over. Brenda, convinced she was queen of this little drama, decided to escalate. Room scan, elegant decor, sophisticated clientele. Idea sparked. Something special, she declared, cutting off Ashley, hand raised, summoning James like he was a genie in a bottle. Invisible until needed. James approached, calm mask in place. Brenda, arms crossed, challenging glare locked on him. Off menu, personalized, creative, and not ordinary. Surprise me. Tone? A test, not a request. Smirk playing on her lips. Ashley mortified. Brenda, you're going too far. Too far? Brenda laughed, incredulous. Demanding service. That's what this place is supposed to offer. Can't handle special requests. Undeserved prestige. James, slight nod. Of course, madam. I'll do my best. Consult the chef. Be right back with suggestions. Brenda, smug smile widening, relished the thought of pushing limits, frustrating someone she deemed insignificant. Pleasure in petty power. Kitchen doors swung open. James to Marco. Special request? Seafood, unique twist, test situation. Marco, amused grin. Testing us, is she? Don't worry, I'll craft something memorable. Make her rethink her little games. James smiled, confident. She's pushing. We're prepared. Just be brilliant. Marco, already brainstorming, nodded. Always am. Chef magic happening. James continued his rounds. Brenda still his focal point. She was a predator, eyes flicking, searching, waiting to pounce on any imperfection. Time passed. Special seafood creation ready. James, knowing this was the climax, delivered it himself. Plate placed before Brenda, every move measured, professional. Your dish, madam, chef's creation, grilled seafood, Mediterranean spice, herb puree, fresh vegetables. Hope it exceeds expectations. Brenda, satisfied smirk, waiting for her moment of critique. Fork raised, piece of grilled fish speared, brought to her mouth. Pause. Chew. Chew. Still the neutral mask. Food was undeniably perfect, but admit perfection? Never. Acceptable, she declared, same dismissive tone, but uninspired, could get this anywhere. Ashley sigh audible. Brenda, be fair, it looks incredible. Fairness? Irrelevant, Ashley, Brenda retorted, composure unwavering, demanding standards, paying top dollar. Ordinary? Unacceptable. They need to learn. Customers like Emmy, we don't settle. James, calm voice. Understood, madam. Anything else? I'll be nearby. You better be, Brenda snapped, eyes locked on James, waiting for him to crack, to stumble. But James, solid, unyielding, gave her nothing. He retreated, Brenda's gaze a physical weight on his back, testing, pushing, determined to break him. But James, unbreakable. Challenges, part of the journey. Customers like Brenda, just another hurdle on the path to success. Kitchen, Marco's curious gaze met James's. Did she implode? James, slight smile. Acceptable. High praise from her. Marco laughed. Tough crowd, but we'll keep showing her who the culinary masters are. Night deepened. Brenda, still watching James, still searching for flaws. But James, cool, collected, waiting for the moment, the reveal. The evening, a slow burn of tension, prejudice simmering beneath the surface, ready to boil over. Brenda's arrogance, initially subtle, now blatant, offensive. Every interaction with James, the waiter, the lesser being in her world, became a platform for her prejudice. Amazing who they hire these days, Brenda muttered to Ashley, watching James serve a nearby table, cold smile twisting her lips. Used to be professionals here. Now, anyone in an apron, pretending to know fine dining. Ashley, wincing, tried to redirect. Brenda, he's doing fine. Everything's been okay. Brenda scoffed. Ashley, your standards are subterranean. Look at him, street vendor vibe, Rosewood, wrong planet. James, overhearing, maintained his composure, but Brenda's words, sharper now, cut deeper. Subtle disdain morphed into open hostility. Racism, ugly, blatant, on display. Something James had faced his whole life, from childhood streets to boardroom battles. He returned to Brenda's table, prepared for the next wave. Waiter, Brenda, no eye contact. Side dish, missing. Simple instructions. Clearly challenging. Bring it. Now. James, patient stretch taut, replied calmly. Apologies, madam. Side dish immediately. Turning to fetch it, Brenda finally looked up, eyes meeting James's for the first time that night. Contempt in their depths. Better be, if you even comprehend English. A brittle laugh, then to Ashley. Sometimes, Ashley, forget certain employees lack our background. Quality service? Foreign concept. James, side dish delivered, about to retreat again, Brenda stopped him. Wait. Curious gaze, malice lurking beneath. Question, ever visited a place like this? Before working here? Racist insinuation. Blatant. Ugly. James, voice steady. Yes, madam, regularly. Brenda chuckled. Soft, mocking. Of course. Sure you have. Headshake, amused by her own joke. But honestly, how did you get this job? Don't exactly scream Rosewood, do you? Public humiliation, blatant racism spreading like poison gas. Nearby tables stilled, conversations dying, all eyes on table 12. Ashley, head bowed, shame radiating off her. Courage to intervene? Non-existent. James, deep breath. Reveal time. Brenda, oblivious, pressed on. Patronizing tone dripping with venom. Ever considered sticking to places more your speed? Not criticism. Observation. Places like this, complicated for certain people. Suddenly, Daniel, the manager, materialized. Tension alert. Damage control mode. Evening, madam. Forced smile. Problem? Assistance needed? Brenda, turning to Daniel, authority oozing. Yes, problem. This. Waiter. Gesture towards James, no eye contact. Rosewood standards, subterranean, unprofessional, no training, shocking quality decline. Daniel, eyes fixed on Brenda, expression unreadable. Subtle nod, almost imperceptible towards James. Signal received. Time to step in. Madam, James began, voice clear, steady, moving forward. Understand your dissatisfaction. But before we proceed, something you should know. Brenda narrowed her eyes, confusion flickering across her face. And what's that? James, calm, voice resonating with quiet authority. I am the owner of the Gilded Lily. Silence. Absolute. Devastating. Brenda's smug smile evaporated, color drained from her face, replaced by utter stark shock. Ashley, across the table, hand flew to her mouth, gasp trapped in her throat. Well, what? Brenda stammered, voice a trembling whisper. You're joking, right? James, composure unwavering. No, madam. James Blackwood, owner. Occasionally, work undercover, waiter. Assess customer experience, observe staff interaction, years. This is standard practice. Brenda, frozen, arrogance shattered, racist facade crumbling. Restaurant, moments before buzzing with chatter, now tomb silent. Every eye locked on Brenda's table. I didn't know, Brenda choked out, panic rising. If known, owner, never would have... That's the point, madam, James interrupted, cutting off her pathetic excuse. Shouldn't matter who I am. Owner, waiter, what matters is how you treat people. Tonight, complete disrespect, not just employee, human being. Brenda, mouth opening, closing, no words forming. Ashley beside her, shame palpable, wishing for invisibility. James continued, voice firm but controlled. The Gilded Lily? Respect, core value, race, status, position, irrelevant. Dignity for everyone. Tonight, madam, you failed miserably. Brenda, utterly, publicly humiliated, finally dropped her gaze, unable to meet James's steady eyes. I'm sorry, she mumbled, words hollow, meaningless. James, small nod, dignity intact. Hope your next visit, different, madam. Reflect on tonight, actions, consequences. Turning, he walked away, leaving Brenda in the wreckage of her own arrogance. Silence hung heavy, diners absorbing the scene. For the first time all night, Brenda, powerless, no excuses left. Brenda sat, hands trembling on crisp white linen. The Gilded Lily, once opulent, now suffocating. Quiet murmur rippling through the room, lingering stares, weighing on her. Small, powerless, for the first time in memory. Ashley, still speechless, whispered, voice thick with shame. Brenda, we should go. Brenda, numb, nodded. Barely registered the weight of each step towards the exit. Arrogance, confidence shattered. Publicly, undeniably. Passing tables, she felt the eyes, judgment, disapproval, disgust. Disdain she'd projected onto James now reflected back at her, devastatingly amplified. Brenda, always above it all, untouchable now, exposed. Exit, she passed Daniel, manager, watching with serene, almost indifferent expression. No words, but his eyes spoke volumes. New standard at the Gilded Lily. Customers like Brenda unwelcome, unless they changed. Brenda and Ashley exited in silence. Chicago night, cold, sharp, mirroring Brenda's emotional chill. City noise, indifferent to her public implosion. Inside, James allowed himself a moment. Significant night, exposing prejudice, yes. Reaffirming values, more so. Humble beginnings, empire built, obstacles overcome. People like Brenda always present. But dignity, his constant weapon. Night far from over, but victory achieved. Daniel approached, interrupting his thoughts. Handled that masterfully, James. No idea who she was messing with. James, tired smile. Not the first time, Daniel. Won't be the last, but important reminder. Daniel nodded. She'll never forget this. Hope she learned something, James replied, tone serious. Not about humiliation, about respect for everyone. Owner, waiter, dignity. Dignity, that's the key. Restaurant, slowly returning to its rhythm. Whispers still circulating. James surveyed the room, energy intact, composure held, situation contained. Moments later, customers approached, thanking him. Service, atmosphere, welcoming vibe. Elderly woman, kind smile, very patient man, Mr. Blackwood. Not everyone, composure, like that. James touched, smiled back. Thank you, madam. Patience, sometimes best response. She nodded, purse in hand, leaving. Beautiful restaurant. Be back, often. James thanked her again, watching her go, mission reaffirmed. The Gilded Lily, not just food, but equality. Atmosphere of respect, his legacy. Night ending, restaurant emptying, James retreated to his office. Chair, reflection. Similar situations before, but Victoria? Different. Raw racism, but respect prevailed, dignity won. Soft footsteps, Daniel at the door, slight smile. Quieter night now, James. Deserved. James laughed, shaking his head. Definitely, but nights like this remind us why we do this. Daniel nodded. More than cool head, James. True dignity on display. James smiled, rising. Nights like this. Lessons for everyone. Hopefully, Brenda learned something too. Lights off, office dark, James walked out, certainty solid within him. Prejudice exists, but resilience, integrity, calm strength, powerful weapons. More than enough. What do you think about Brenda's actions? Share your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Your participation is important to us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. Thanks for watching.